Welcome back to the Gamekeeper's Cottage Diaries. Welcome back to Gamekeeper's Cottage. It's late September and it's definitely starting to get very autumnal now. Let's take a quick wander around the property and have a look at how the plants and hedges are looking in late September. So as we look at the mature hedge that borders the property, you can see most of the blackberries have all gone now. There's still a few little black ones around, but they're not tasting the best. We've got an abundance of haws on the hawthorn bushes in this hedge. We've had a fair bit of wind recently, so a number of the plants have been blown over, but as you can see in these pots here, we've got quite a lot of nice pink cosmos. And then as we wander across the stable yard towards the gate hedge, you can see that the hedging plants that we planted earlier in the year, a bit overgrown at the moment, but they are starting to establish themselves. So we've got quite some nice growth on some of these plants. We'll try and tidy this up sometime to get rid of some of the overgrowth that's growing through. Turning around and looking up, obviously the stable roof that we worked on a couple of months ago, still looking good, still keeping the water out. As we walk round towards the front of the house, you can see in the stone trough here we've got some more cosmos that again has been blown over with the wind, but some very pretty little pink flowers on it. Continuing around towards the front patio, you can see we've got a few pots here. Again, my wife went a bit mad with the cosmos, so we've got quite a few of those. And then up at the front of the house, still a few blooms on some of the old roses and yet more cosmos. And there's Felix supervising as usual. Walking round in towards what will eventually become the vegetable area and with the orchard next to it. There's a lot of apples on the ground that we need to get rid of, and most of them are off of the trees now, although there are still a few up on some of the trees here. As you can see, this tree has quite a lot of nice apples on it. The pears on the little pear tree are pretty much gone. There's a few rotten ones. We had a few of those. The birds got a lot of them, but they were fairly nice. And again, making our way deeper into the orchard. Another one of the apple trees. We really do need to take a look at some of these trees and cut back some of the branches because they are getting very out of control. But there's still a nice lot of apples coming from them. And then over in this corner, again, more apples. And as we wander around towards the end of this area, we'll take a look at the vine. We didn't get any main grapes off of it, they were still a bit too small and sour, but it's still establishing itself, so there's a lot of nice vines there. As we walk along into the main back garden, you can see a couple more of the hedge plants that we planted earlier in the year. They're also starting to establish themselves, and obviously the plan for the rest of the year is to dig up some of this edge area around the fence and to get a proper hedge planted, and then wandering over finally towards the lounge bed, as we call it. Again, this area has been rather overrun with cosmos. My wife underestimated just how much they would grow, but we've got some beautiful little pink flowers here. And we do still have all the other plants that we planted earlier in the year. Bit hard to see, but the lavenders are starting to establish themselves. So if we just look over here, you can see there's one of them there, and some of the others. And one of the salvias is really starting to grow well. And we've got this massive honeysuckle bush over this side that we really need to try and thin out and perhaps try and grow up the side of the wall. And then finally, walking around to this little side area, again very overgrown, and the rose has lost all of its blooms. But that's it for a walk around the gardens at Gamekeeper's Cottage here in late September. All that remains is for me to thank you for watching and ask that if you enjoyed the video, please support the channel by liking, subscribing and commenting.